Let's go.
Hello everyone, welcome to my second video. After testing my integrated graphics, I thought to test something a little bit better. Today I've tested Nvidia Geforce GT 730 DDR3. This card has 1GB of DDR3 VRAM clocked at 800 MHz. GPU itself is clocked at 902 MHz. I've also included overclocked GPU tests. I achieved 1000 MHz clock on the memory and maximum core clock was 1253 MHz. This time my CPU, Core i3-540, was overclocked to 4.32 GHz to prevent any kind of bottlenecking. So, let's go straight to the results. First game I've tried was Battlefield 3. I set resolution to 1080p and chose low preset for graphical settings. Although even with these settings, my expectations of this card were a little too high. At stock it averaged only 23 FPS, although the frame rate constantly dipped below 20, and got even as low as 12. Overclocking added 6 frames per second on average, and it improved minimums quite a bit, as the game almost never went below 20. Still, the game didn't really feel playable, at times, although dropping the resolution to 720p would make the performance substantially better. Next game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. At 1080p with maximum settings, it was a bit too hard of a challenge for this GPU. Although the average was close to 30 frames per second, there was some quite frequent dips to around 15 FPS. Even though overclocking did improve average slightly, minimums were barely affected. Another game I've played was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This actually was the best running game from the ones I've tested. At 1080p with low settings and fast approximate anti-aliasing enabled it averaged 47 frames per second. I experienced some slight stutter while playing on these settings but it did not affect the gameplay in any way. Overclocking allowed to achieve a very smooth 60 frames per second on average. Also, frame rate stayed above 30 throughout all the testing, so it was a really great gaming experience. Last game today is Dirt 3 and the performance there isn't such good as with Counter-Strike Go. I chose low preset for graphical settings and set the resolution to 1080p. The game averaged 29 FPS, and there were some slowdowns to low 20s at times, though aside from that, game ran quite fine. With GPU overclocked, the game ran around 30 frames per second most of the time, and the gameplay was somewhat smoother. To conclude all the gaming tests, I could say that this graphics card is a huge step up from integrated graphics I've tested in the previous video, that's based on Call of Duty and Counter-Strike benchmarks, although GT 730 is not very well suited for 1080p gaming. Some less demanding, or older games would run fine in Full HD, if you tone settings down to low, medium, although on more demanding games, like Battlefield 3, this Nvidia card would struggle to keep smooth frame rates. I haven't tested newest titles, but I suppose that the results wouldn't be better than what we saw with Battlefield 3, possibly even worse. So, that would be it for today. Thank you for watching and I hope you liked it.